It was good.
It
Sorry.
was played well, but
I don't mean to speak for you. I'm sorry, then that was incorrect here. But yeah, then they played around with Ash. Like, okay, you set up for Darshan instead. So if both these teams have even more strategies to play here and more styles, and of course that even further changes picks and bans. We're like, oh no, go play Rise. We'll just play Fizz and do it.
Yeah, Stixay, I think, has played a different AD carry every single game so far. So
I think you're right.
Yeah, Ash, Kalista, Tristana, Jinx.
Yeah.
Yep. Knowledge. So
There's the Kalista Lulu bans.
Yep.
Like you guys discussed, especially that Lulu, CLG, the one taking that out even on blue side, and Rise just being taken out of the game from Origin. They don't want to. Oh, and the Fizz ban against Darshan. They did not like what they saw against Sohan and the generic Green Wings.
At least on this patch, you could be flexible with target bans on purple side, something we didn't see at Worlds. Worlds Final was always guaranteed to be
Teams weren't willing
Gangplank.
to like fight against a Gangplank.
Yeah, and you don't want to fight Gangplank or Mordekaiser. Both those picks have fallen off, so now finally we can see at least some target banning on both sides, which I think makes the side choice a little more even.
Now Origin have the option of banning Kindred or Gragas. I honestly would go with Gragas in this. I mean, the fact that they put it
Just
mid.
give him Kindred.
Yeah.
Oh, the Ribbon.
Wow.
All right, so they really just want to eliminate choices from Darshan here. I don't think that's really going to stop him so much. He went even as far as to pick up that Jax earlier today.
So you gotta first pick the Gragas though, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can just steal it because there's Prio available.
Would they steal it? Would Amazing steal it just to make Xmithia a little bit uncomfortable?
I think so.
I think Amazing plays a good Gragas. I could definitely see them first rotating it if they don't get it here. And I mean, Tahm Kench is up. I don't think that they're going to...
Oh, that's true. Tahm
And
Kench
is it
also
worth
slipped
more than
through.
Kindred also? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry, but yeah, there's actually a lot of really important things here. In Origin, with 3 target bans, if I'm reading this properly, I think I've actually set up a really good pinch here where, yeah, Tahm Kench is up, there's Kindred and Gragas, both of which are important for different reasons. Also, the Tristana, which I think is a really high-ticket AD carry.
And he just showed that he played the AD carry in the last set, too. So,
yeah,
I think they could actually do Gragas Kindred right here. Even though they're kind of like counterintuitive. Well, actually, I wouldn't say they're counterintuitive because you can knock the enemy team out of your own Kindred ultimate. And, yeah.
There's finally the Gangplank. I think Soaz was pulling Gangplank bans in the last series.
Yeah.
TSM weren't letting him play it, so it finally comes out here, and it's good to see some people willing to play the champion still.
Yeah, and 2 matchups that have been picked out here. I don't know quite how Fizz does into Gangplank, but at least you do have tools.
It does not sound good for Gangplank.
Yeah, you do have tools to avoid.
Well, you can W the
avoid
fish, can't
barrels.
you? And you just walk out.
No, you can't drop the fish. You'll drop the slow, but you won't drop the fish.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You can like walk out of the knockup and stuff, but you know, it's not actually that pretty. So Gragas does go, of course, go over to CLG. So the core power of CLG, right? The Tahm Kench, Tristana, the Gragas here, none of that really went away. Okay, Darshan's pool is a little bit more limited, but at the same time, Origin got a bunch of stuff they love. They can flex the Kindred. They got so as a GP. It's huge for him.
Yeah.
I think CLG pretty much got the comp they want so far. They have like these 2 big buffers and disengagers, and Triss is just... I mean, she's so safe in this team comp, but they don't really have that much damage yet, so they really need to pick some heavy DPS champs here.
And that's what Darshan's performance has really facilitated.
Yes.
Really just opening up the core, just standard picks here, Gragas, Tristana, Tahm Kench, which any team should be happy to have just because they're scared of the Fizz, they're scared of the Riven, they're scared of the Rise right now.
But it leaves up Fiora or Orloff, both of which are, as you like literally just mentioned, great matchups in a Gangplank. I think they could be really strong right here. I do like that Origin, by the way, have saved their last solo lane pick because there is that chance that GP can flex to mid and that they get to see what the matchup is up there. As much as Olaf and Fiora might do well up at the top lane, well, it might not be there. Like, we haven't seen Power People play since the big Gangplank buffs, really, so he might know the champion.
Is this the first ever game we've seen in this tournament? I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure as well, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't had too many games this weekend with the 6 teams playing single elimination, but Sivir showing up. I mean, until now, it was always like Tristana, Jinx. We saw the Kalista today, and now we saw the Kindred 1 game, but it's been, and then Ash, of course, started to show up today. But yesterday was all Tristana, Jinx.
I think the big thing with that is you just don't really need a hyper carry for the late game because you have Kindred and Gangplank, both amazing scaling champions. So you just need that utility to get your team in and out. You can kite with the Sivir ultimate, and you can also use it as a way to get the Alistar in there to engage, and I like that.
One risk here is Origin have really all their emphasis on one person. Okay, so there's Echo and Fiora, both of which actually I think should be fine against Gangplank, so it helps cover the flex pick nature of that champion. But Origin have 0 tanks right now, right? Their jungler and their top laner, the 2 spots most likely to have a tank in them, aside from support, are very, very squishy champions. Only Alistar can really set things up, and you're relying on Kindred ulti to not get one shot. It's a little bit tricky, I think, for Origin with this champ select.
When Origin played their last set, they actually did a blind pick of Rumble while Fiora was up, so it showed that they weren't scared of that matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised to even see that again here. And I mean, it's not a tank, but it provides so much zone control for your ADCs to do their job.
I mean, you can play without a tank if you go for a mid-game spike composition where you're just overwhelmed and you have too many threats for them to deal with.
Yeah, and Rumble fits that really nicely. So Actually, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. This could fit really well for the
with the AP damage too coming in from the Rumble. So
yeah, they're all physical.
Yeah, because I was thinking Olaf, but what speaks against that is so much physical damage, or you can just, flex the Gangplank to top lane, let Soaz deal with the matchup.
That's a hard matchup.
Yeah, this is a matchup. Like, if there's a battle where you need Darshan to carry, I mean, you've given him a good lane matchup, a high-skilling champion. This could be CLG just playing more CLG-type games now.
It's the second time I think we've seen Gangplank Kassan paired. I think, was it LGD that played it just a very low wave clear composition overall? It kind of got snowballed upon, but at least now they can flex Niels into the mid lane. He becomes the wave clearer.
Okay.
Origin have a really good sense of macro gameplay when they have to switch certain people out of their roles. They're really not just stuck in like absolute definitions. You go top, you go mid, you go bot. So they should be able to work around that problem, but have to be careful though. Some really good matchups here, especially early to mid game from CLG.
I mean, I think the big thing here is CLG should also be pretty happy about what they got. So they should be able to play their heart out and really see how do we match up against a team who made it to the semifinals at Worlds.
Yeah, I think the weaknesses can be shored up though. I actually like Sever into Trist. You can spell sheet the explosive charge very easily, even on the back half of it. And you've got the Gangplank ulti to stop some of the pushes that are going to be obvious from this Trist. So there's a lot of tools here for Origin.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be able to drag it out the late game for sure.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can CLG put up the fight they need in the very first game, or will Origin take the lead in this finals? Best of 5 coming right up, and we'll find out with Demon, Doa, and Monte Cristo.
Yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I've joined the Korean casters. Finally, I'm like between two legends of Korea, and now, of course, bringing me in there. So I've come out of the retirement home. It's good that I've got you guys to help me through this
I'm
one.
casting with the old men, two oldest League of Legends casters.
I came back and took his oldest flag. He was like, I'm the oldest caster now. And I'm like, not yet. Not
I
yet.
know. I was in the interview. You weren't casting at the time. And so I said, I'm the oldest English caster now. And then D-Man's like reading that, like his slippers. And he's like, what? And he just sits up.
Got my cup of tea in my hand. Yeah. But this is the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. It is Europe versus America, as we all hoped it would be. Origin versus Counterlogic Gaming.
Who are you casting with right now?
Neither of you thought, we're going to win.
No,
Let's face it. Neither of you had them down to take this one. Origin, of course, well, they looked fantastic against Team Solo Mid earlier. It was a little messy somewhat, but CLG just had some fantastic semi-finals. The question is, did it take it a little bit too much out of them?
Yeah, game 1 was a little messy. I think they cleaned things up in game 2, and in the quarters, they really looked quite dominant. So I'm excited to see what kind of performance they can turn in here, especially because they let a lot of these power picks go through it with the tournament that Soaz is having, giving him a Gangplank, a champion that he was so good on late in the summer season. I question it. So we'll see if it works out for them.
It does seem a bit risky, doesn't it? To give them Kindred, to give them Gangplank, it a lot.
I mean, it was clear that their focus was to take all the toys away from Niels, but have they just given up too much to do this? This is something you talked about throughout the Worlds. It's like, if you focus one player, one champion, just take away all his champions, you leave so much open for the rest of the team to take. And that was the whole thing with Faker. Everybody focused Faker. Everyone's like, I'll take everything away. And then obviously, sure as hell, Marin's just like, this is great.
I mean, I suppose it is a best of 5, right? You've got some room for experimentation a bit. I mean, you don't want to give away everything. And if you've got a chance to pick some of these, you just go for it. Ooh, Stixie and Afro. They're going to run right into the Wow.
They go straight in there. Now the question is, who's going to come out on top here? Quickly, Mithy has to take Pulverize, but Afromu continuing on this one. Not really on the same page as Stixie. Stixie's already walked off Afromu. The baits, I feel.
Good luck.
That's clearly confident from Afromu. It's just like, I don't need backup. I can just fake it, and you're going to fall for it. And they did. They backed away.
The expression on Tom Kench's face as he was hiding around that corner was just the most gleeful expression I've ever seen. It's like, yeah, here they come.
I mean, he does have a beautiful big grin on him.
He does. Great teeth, too, really.
What do we make it? Oh, well, actually, we'll keep our eyes on this one. Afromu's actually taking a little bit too much damage now, so still waiting for that level 2 to kick in between the two. But I wanted to talk about the two mid laners. I mean, we haven't seen Echo for a while being played in there. Wait a minute. Niels is taking a lot of damage. Stixie may get caught out. Remember, Mithy went Pulverized level 1. He can get in closer, but he's taking a hell of a lot of damage. They jump straight in. The exhaust goes straight down. Stixay has to run away from this. They've got a ward in that bush. They have the vision, but Niels doesn't really have the damage yet. This is all level 1 to level 2 craziness.
Well, they hit the level 2 first, so they tried to just get some damage, and they forced actually 2 summoners early out of Origin's dual lane. So we talked about how, I mean, this was perhaps going to be a big advantage here, and they've already done a lot of work in this bottom side.
Darshan poking Soaz quite a bit here. This is going to be an interesting lane too. Obviously, CLG trying to do with their top laner like they've been doing all day, but how much is Soaz going to be able to do to stop that, do you think?
Well, that's it. I mean, this is Soaz territory. It's like he wrote the book on it, split pushing with Peke back in the day. So he knows all about it. But yeah, clearly Darshan very much on form today. Absolutely astounding stuff at game 1. Oh, doing a Peke almost. And then game 2, of course, also fantastic on Fizz. I nearly said Fizz. Fizz is in the house, by the way. Oh, okay. he's not playing on Fizz. Fizz, another caster you may know from the YouTube days at the moment. So, yeah, playing on Fizz. He has been on point. And the question is, can Origin shut him down?
Well, I think that this is such an interesting battle because of the tournaments that Darshan and Soaz are having, because they have been the outstanding carries on their teams, and really whoever wins this series, if they can keep those performances up, should be really the MVP of this tournament. So exciting to see that. And you know, they tried to get a lot of these bans in onto top lane bans onto CLG, but it just seems like CLG has more and more top laners available for themselves, just moving very smoothly to that Fiora. Pretty safe blind pick overall. And it's about scaling, really, for Origin right now, and to see if they can actually control this threat that Darshan has posed throughout this entire event.
I feel like we're almost back to Worlds again, where in the end it's kind of a battle of top laners, you know?
Well, the meta never really left us, though.
Not really. It will after this tournament, though.
I mean, I feel that has been the beauty of the last seasons, like the fact that the top laners have been a bit more versatile. They've not just been big tanks that sat there. And I know for a fact, obviously, from knowing Soaz for years and years, that was what he absolutely detested about the top lane, these big tanky top laners that were just not so enjoyable to play in straight 1v1s. I'm sure a lot of top laners would agree with me, but let's talk about this mid lane. I wanted to talk about earlier, Huhi on Echo and Power of Evil, of course, on Kassadin. How do we see this one? I mean, both clearly have the potential to be big burst champions, but these two mid laners, I mean, they both had a relatively quiet semi-finals.
Yeah, well, I think Power of Evil did better than Huhi overall. Like, Huhi played his role, but I don't think he was particularly outstanding in the mid lane. But I think the problem here is taking this Echo early presents a bit of a risk. But when you take TP Echo, what you can do is push really hard. And what has Huhi been doing this entire tournament so far? He's been trying to control his lane and chip the mid lane turret. We saw him doing that with Kindred in the last game. And you see him just kind of just coming in here, getting that stun down onto Power of Evil. But what happens if you want to play Echo like this is you have very good wave clear with your Time Winder once you get a few levels into it. And then you can just,
gank into the mid lane here. He knocked up at X-Smithy's right there to turn it around down to Origin. Looks like they're going to have to back away for the moment.
So what you do, you get your ultimate, you recall, and then you TP or you hit your ult to get right back into the mid lane. So you can really take advantage of whenever Power of Evil recalls to get a lot of damage and push the mid lane turret. So they can control Kassadin's movements. And again, CLG seems to know what they want to do in this event. They're going to play for turrets. That is how they've won their way to the finals. And so the Echo pick in that regard with the teleport does make sense.
Well, one thing that they've done so much better than TSM already is not died 3 times or 4 times already, because we've hit the 7-minute mark almost and nobody has died. So
that's right, no 3K gold leads.
Finals, yeah, exactly. So immediately they've not put themselves on the back foot.
Well, I think that there are still questions about CLG's ability to shot call. They didn't have very long to get this roster together, so it's difficult to say anything definitive about TSM's performance compared to teams like CLG and Origin that didn't replace 4 members on their roster.
It's a bit tougher for CLG as well, considering they just came out of one of the longest 2-0s I think I've ever seen. So
both games over 45 minutes.
Yeah, so the fatigue is real for these guys. I mean, OG has just been kind of sitting around and getting a nice view of what their opponents are going to be doing, where CLG has been playing for their spot in the finals.
Yeah, it has been a very hard contested one. We weren't sure how it was going to go after the match against Unicorns of Love the other day, but Mithy and Niels trying to keep Stixay away from this one. Stixay, obviously a question mark coming into this one. How is he going to deal with an AD carry like Niels? How's he going to deal with Mithy? Is Afromu going to be able to support him like he could against double lift? Well,
Nope.
that proves it. He's just going to, well, actually spat him out, you know. It's different ways you could look at it. Spat him towards the enemy.
Bold.
But bold move,
Yes.
that's for sure. But maybe if you're lucky, you guys at home will be breaking out the Darshan song that we were singing just on.
I'm sure many tales have been written about Darshan pushing the top lane. Any bards?
But
I mean,
yeah.
the real bards that write songs, not Afro Muan, the champion bard.
Yeah, Bard is such a weird name for that champion.
It is.
Because there's no singing involved, really.
Yeah, there's no singing.
He plays
Yeah.
like a little horned instrument, sort of, but it's not really a bard. I mean, there's no story really being told other than Bard's going to come and take your artifacts and leave you to die.
I mean, there's not really a story being told in League of Legends. So, I mean, let's not just limit it to Bardo.
Well, there's a bit of a story, bit of damage down, but I don't think Darshan planned on taking that tower hit. That definitely transferred into an even duel in the end. But he's looking to follow up, but he's got Smithy with him.
Yeah,
Now are
Hui
they
and
gonna pile
Smithy.
in?
Can they make a play here onto Soaz? Soaz still has flash, and he's already under turret. They're going to have to
He's
do
in
a pretty
trouble.
serious dive here. I don't know if he knows this is coming. Pushing ahead.
He's got zero support either. Kindred way away,
okay.
amazing off. There's the ultimate he used. He knows that something's up here. Does manage to get out of the way of one. Dodges what he can, but this is going to be easily picked up by CLG. No doubt about it. Solid first blood there. Very well worked.
Well, one of the things that this TSM, or rather CLG composition does very well is zone on these dives. You have the Fiora ultimate, you have Smithy providing zones with his own ults and with his barrels. So it is pretty simple for them to make these plays. And when they don't have a lot of pushing power in the mid lane, who he can push up and then TP right back into mid. So again, CLG, they really look like they know how to play their compositions. They know what their goals are in the game and that they are going to execute them. And I think what's so interesting about watching CLG in this iteration is that they look, sure, Darshan has had a big tournament and he has looked like a star player, but this team on the whole, you know, they've been winning without having a big other star performance, and they didn't add any big names. And Hui,
A lot of damage onto Hui.
yeah, you got the problem with this lane is that you are going to get a massive Kassadin at some point because there's not really going to be any shutdown potential. So CLG has to play very quickly this game. They need to keep doing these dives because in the late game, they will be significantly outclassed. It's all about this early advantage.
Trying to get the transfer down to Hui, but he does get away, picks himself up that blue buff and walks away. I think Origin realized they're a little bit too late to the party on that one. But going back to your point, I mean, this is the thing about CLG. This is what opens them up big here. Oh, hello. This is a big dive. Well, I mean, anything CLG can do, Origin can do better, or maybe certainly try to. Darshan's going to be the focus. Amazing's going to take all the damage to start with. I think they're going to set up Power of Evil to get the kill, but Amazing's going to go down. No, the ultimate will keep him alive just about long enough, and Darshan will get picked off there. I thought for a minute he was going to step out of that ulti as that last tower hit comes in. I was like, is he? Yeah, he balanced it well. And they're going to take the tower as well here, unless he can stop them. He's going to come in and try and do what he can. Teleports down to the bottom to prevent Stixay also getting onto this one. Power of Evil fancies this. Stixay's in a little bit of trouble. Uh-oh, here comes the rest of the party, but that's going to be Afromu to the rescue. And Power of Evil backs away.
Yeah, but Niels, missing a couple of auto attacks due to the tower aggro, just walking a little bit in front of his minion wave. But they are going to do some decent damage here. And
Niels. Got to be careful there. Nearly gets hit with that stun. Hui, though, the one trap between Smithy and Niels. He's going to pop that out for a little bit more help. And here comes a Gangplank ultimate. Smithy there to block Origin from coming in and securing the kill.
Yeah, they can just loop right back around, though, and keep this siege up. Hui had to use his ultimate right there. And now they're just going to keep on clearing Hui very low.
Mythic's going to keep the aggression on, but somewhat disjointed attacks from Origin here. You would think they were the new team that was been thrown together. But going back to your point about CLG, I mean, you look at CLG now, they don't have double F. That's a big part, and that's a big part for CLG, especially the players that have been there for a long time, because this whole team has been protect the double F for 4 years now. They are basically, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's 4 years, isn't it? It was there. But this whole team, I mean, we were talking about, obviously, when we were prepping coming into this one, like, who's the superstar, who's the guy? Well, Darshan's looking that way, but they don't need to play around Darshan. They don't need to play around that. They can actually all play for themselves. All be a bit of a team cohesive unit. As we looked at TSM basically have moved to CLG 2.0. They went to protect the double lift, even with Bjergsen there. So I feel, we'll see how CLG goes. It's a long time in the season, but I feel actually this may open them up a little bit here. So as Grand Challenge getting put down, Darshan's in trouble though.
Yeah, trying to back away. Miffy coming in to try to find an angle for the knockup. Doesn't quite get it.
Well, it's nicely parried, actually, coming in.
Oh,
so.
yeah, right. Well, meanwhile, more action down in the bot lane. Power Revival taking a big chunk out of Huhi, and the Dragon being taken by CLG. Can they get it? Looks like there's no opposition from Origin, so CLG is going to claim first Dragon of the finals.
Well, I mean, they saw the Alistar in the top side, and they knew Kassadin was pushed into the bottom turret, so very easy Dragon call there from CLG, but they are outplaying Origin a little bit on the map right now. They've suffered some losses. Of course, you can look at that CS stacking up for Soaz, and that's going to be quite important because, of course, he has that parlay, and so is getting more and more gold. And have they done enough yet to actually stop this? There's a TP coming in to try and gank Soaz, and it will be canceled.
He gets the slow, too. Aphromoo chasing. Looks like they're going to get the flash out of Miffy. Didn't want to get gobbled up.
This is buying
Tom Kench.
This is buying a lot of time. I mean, look at the bottom lane. That's going to be Power of Evil possibly taking this tower. I can't see anyone getting down there in time to prevent that one. Niels actually got cut off. 6A did go down there in the end to cut him off. Niels was getting a lot of free time on it. So Origin, while they're not really picking up the kills, they're kind of failing at ganks. They're working well at taking these turrets down. There's two falling in quick succession. And now the middle one, don't forget, there was a lot of damage put down onto towards that as well. So certainly Origin not looking too bad. And of course, that gold lead very much in their favor.
I feel like this is what we saw a lot of at Worlds too. You know, I mean, Origin just kind of sustaining, and then suddenly you see a lot of turrets go down really quickly, and Origin jumps out to that lead.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly setting it up nicely. This is a very healthy lead at nearly 3K. To have early on in this game, they should be able to contest the following Dragon. And considering that they're the ones going for scaling, they've got the Gangplank, they've got the Kassadin. This is a really dangerous place for CLG to be, and they need to find something on the map right now because even their split pusher in terms of Fiora is falling behind. Soaz already with the Trinity Force here at 15 minutes. Yep. And Niels, they're playing this well. They just need Niels in the mid lane. This is perfect for Origin. Just go ahead, get that Rod of Aegis, get that Sheen, because now Kassadin is a major threat to the second tier turret with the Sheen damage, and just have Niels on wave clear duty.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, Origin, when we're going into the mid-late game, is nearly undoubtedly going to look a little bit better than this newer CLG roster is going to be. So if CLG doesn't make something happen like now, you got to wonder when they're going to make it happen.
This is looking like a bit of pressure here. Origin starting to move in, getting the ward coverage, covering off this lower half of the jungle. Power of Evil going to get a little burst onto who he is. He steps in towards that tower. Still very much a tit-for-tat battle between those two. Nobody's really got the burst potential to finish the other off. They'll both be able to escape. But this is just all buying time for this to happen in the mid lane.
And that's the danger of Kindred. She offers so much to siege compositions. Having that, you know, going into the attack power, the attack damage with the warrior enchant, and then looks like building a brutalizer on top of that. So this is a very dangerous wave clear and siege comp right now. I mean, and there's really only one wave clear that's instant right now, and that's Time Winder, and Huhi's doing battle with his Kassadin.
Wow. Meanwhile, Huhi has to ult away, but there's the Gangplank ultimate, and Power of Evil claims the second kill for Origin. Tom Kench coming in, but not a lot to do there. Oh, but if he brings Stixay with him, that's a different story.
Yeah, you're not going to get that.
Maybe not too much.
Yeah, with the Rift Walk still there, he's easily able to escape from that situation. So the Abyssal Voyage is now down. We're going to take a look at this again. I mean, Power of Evil just gets the drop onto Huhi right here. And
not much more to say, really. I mean, Huhi just caught.
Yeah, and look at that. Really nice Rift Walk out of the stun at the last second, and then turns it right back around. Help from Soaz, and then the Q from Kassadin finishing off the kill.
I do like that Soaz kind of waited until the ultimate was used too by Huhi to lock him down.
the easiest assist in the game, really, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Just
That's what Gangplank does, man. Just gets those assists.
yeah, just keep those assists going.
The Sivir Gangplank combination just assists everywhere. Assists for everybody. Just press R, receive gold.
That's right. I thought Karthus had it easy.
Karthus does have it easiest, it's true.
He does.
That's true, but we don't get to see him anymore. It's a sad tale.
We saw
for
him at
Karthus.
Worlds, it's okay.
Yeah. Very brief encounter. So as time to keep a little poke on there, but this is the bottom tower going to go Stixay's way, and as Power of Evil can prevent it, no, that will go down. So first tower of the game for Counter Logic Gaming, but Amazing is collapsing around. This is all problems for CLG.
Yeah, the duo's in trouble. They're going to try to get some damage out of it at least, but there's a knockup, and that's going to stop 6A from doing anything. Aframu, he's got a lot of gray health. He's going to use it, but in the end, none of it's enough, and that's a double kill for Amazing.
It's always great to get that double kill on a Tahm Kench. Well, just get the kill on Tahm Kench. You're like, well, you've consumed him. This is going to be two. Thank you very much. The easiest kills you can get.
Yeah, they're going to try and answer by pushing them to the top side, but they will lose a tier 2 for it, guaranteed. 6A and Aframu nearly back up right now, and Origin has plenty of time to clear out the 2 pink wards in the enemy jungle, go ahead and set up for a dragon here in 45 seconds, and they may be going for another dive here.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, who he needs to be careful. He's okay. That's fine. Darshan doing what Darshan does. He's trying to keep that split push going in the top there, but it keeps getting headed off. So as just keeps on going up there, clearing the wave. It's like you are not taking his turret just yet. As of yet, but I mean, he is eventually going to get enough damage to start doing that. The question is, can the rest of his team hold on long enough?
Well, yeah, and Soaz here, the true global ult of Gangplank does stifle a lot of this split pushing, which is great because that's really the only way CLG has been playing so far in this tournament. They've been incredibly reliant on keeping even in gold by successfully split pushing or getting inhibitors or even backdooring to win the game. Dragon about to spawn.
Yep, it's Dragon time. CLG moving into the mid lane, though. It's trying to kill Soaz time, apparently. Can he get over the wall? He can with that flash. And meanwhile, Mythy comes in from behind with a big knockup. With no Soaz, does Origin have what it takes to win this fight? Power of Evil seems to think so. Here comes Amazing as well. Mythy chasing, looking for another bit of CC. There it is, the 3-man knockup. Darshan comes in from behind, though. Can they possibly turn around? They can. Mythy gets taken out. Amazing in trouble now. Drops that Kindred ultimate, still alive for the moment anyway. Gets out of the Baron pit. Power of Evil, not so lucky as he gets chased by Darshan. Stays alive for a bit longer before going down. There's a double kill for Fiora, make it a triple. And now Huhi chasing down Niels, the last member of Origin standing. And with that slow from Tahm Kench, they'll complete the ace. GG, almost in that fight.
Well, they can't probably do the Baron, though, which just spawned. And that is actually huge, but CLG taking a big fight, kiting that out very well, and Origin massively overcommitting. Soaz was already low. There was no Gangplank ultimate right there to actually box people in, so they're going to lose a turret, they're going to lose a dragon, and they're going to give CLG a window back into this game.
I mean, I think the American coming out in Doha. GG. Going back to his StarCraft days, no doubt about it. But really great advantages taken by CLG. And let's look at this fight again.
I mean, Soaz just gets destroyed by that explosive charge, so he doesn't have much left. And this is a fine fight for Origin to take right now. But by the time that they actually finish this one off, they're all split up. We have so many people back, so Mythy's going to get a good headbutt pull right here, and it's going to hit 3 people, but there's just not enough follow-up, and there's 4 members compared to 2 right there just to turn that X-Mythy on death's door.
He's caught out completely, but the consume comes in. And Aframu, oh well, it could be another double here. Smith is going to get spat out. He gets away to the tower, and now Aframu, chased down by Power of Evil. Aframu gets caught. That's gonna be tricky now. CLG looking to re-engage on this one in a 3v5. What are they thinking? Can they get Power of Evil? No, not quite. The explosive shot should finish him off. Yes, it will. Stixay gets him. Soaz taken low. He tries to get out. Darshan, you can't take on 5 members of Origin. He will get taken down. And that was a risky re-engage from CLG. Not too sure on that one.
But what it did do is it probably prevented Origin from doing Baron. So that is the upshot right there, because if they could just turn on to Baron immediately after getting those first couple of kills, And instead, they actually have some sort of advantage right here. Huhi, it's like he wants to go in on this. Amazing.
I don't know about this Hui. He could be in a little bit of trouble.
Well,
That
okay.
was bold.
I mean, I can see what he was thinking, and it may
Stixxay.
work out. And Stixxay, you got to be careful there, man.
Aframu's like, hey, I'm here. I guess I will kill this horde. Good job.
River. He was excited about it, but yeah,
Great
that
vision
was.
control.
That was, I mean, that was a splintered attack from CLG there. They were trying clearly to go with that one, but this is what it's all about. He just walked straight over him. It's like, oh, okay.
Great patience from Mithy right there. And yeah, not quite enough to get him out of harm's way, although you do get Power of Evil underneath that turret for a shot or two. There's the Force Pulse.
That's max range.
Yeah, max range, absolutely. Finishing him off, and then, I mean, coming back around, they managed to dodge out of most of the Echo crowd control in that choke, and Power of Evil dying to that explosive charge, but then going a little bit too hard right here. But again, perhaps.
Oh, hello. Another fight already.
This
Mithy
time-
in a bit of trouble here. Gangplank ult will push CLG back a bit, it looks like.
That Gangplank ult once again coming into good use. This time Soaz in the right place at the right time. That's the problem, Mithy, you know, on the cow. The cow is very hard to kill. There's no doubt about it. But this is kind of the scrappy match I think we were hoping for.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, not that you hope for scrappy matches in finals, but I think we wanted action. Me and Dora here, after all.
We need something to do. We got 2 play-by-plays.
Yeah.
We need a lot of this stuff.
Keep going, boys. Keep going.
Oh, Huni. Who he picked up by Aframu yet again. And that's going to be Origin's cue to go after this Baron.
I mean, they can do this so incredibly quickly right now.
They are.
Power of Evil just zoning him out on the side.
Well, Stixxay coming in as well, X-Mithy. There's a teleport. Baron's going to be taken by Origin. Will they win the fight afterwards? Oh, there's a knock-up onto CLG. Origin turning this one around right away, but Stixxay with the first kill. Amazing low. As soon as that Kindred ult is gone, he is too. Who he picks up that one. Meanwhile, Stixxay jumps back in, gets knocked away though, and CLG takes the kill. Triple kill for Stixxay.
Well, they're going to get some turrets now, and they
All
nearly
right.
nullified that Baron already. Origin tried that Baron in 24 minutes, and yes, they have Kindred that's going to be doing percent health damage, heavy damage to that Baron, and they had the Gangplank too, but not a lot of tankiness in the pit. So it takes them a while to just finish this one off, because it looks like they had a bit of a split call. I mean, Soaz goes out to try and zone with the barrels, and they do end up taking down Xmithy very quickly, but amazing popping that ultimate right there. That means that nobody else can do any damage, and unfortunately, Niels and Mithy just kind of left to dry in the pit. No flashes on either of them.
Aframu did a great job at taking Power of Evil completely out of fight. That's exactly what you should be doing in Town Kench. Devoured him very early on. The second he spat him out, straight away exhausted. It's like, you are doing nothing in this game. And, you know, that's exactly what you got to do. You got to get all this hype around this mid lane and just take him out of the fight. And it's working well. And Origin, I think, a little overconfident there. That really, they started that Baron. All they did was damage Huhi, force him back to base. And they just assumed that they would give up the Baron at 4v5.
A teleport coming in. Looks like from Power of Evil is going to try to come around the back from CLG. Aframu picks up his mid laner, gets knocked back in there. Niels with the kill. Looks like he's going to help his team pick up another one. No, Huhi gets out. Meanwhile, Tristana coming from behind. Stixxay untouched yet, but he can't go in by himself.
This is risky. This is risky. Darshan's joined them. Smithy, you can tell just around the side there, wants to get in, get that barrel, try and disperse them around, but they are going to have to back away and respect the fact there are 5 members of Origin pushing up that mid lane. There's the barrel to keep them away, and that will be an objective picked up for Origin.
Yeah, you only needed that one kill. You still have the Baron buff on Power of Evil, so go ahead, push forward with that. Everyone on CLG pretty much had to recall Huhi very low after that little fight. And you have decent wave clear, as well as those 2 AD carries in Kindred and Sivir to try and push down that turret very quickly. You know, it's unfortunate for Origin that they did lose a couple of those Baron buffs, because ideally they'd rather be 1-3-1 split pushing with this composition, but at least they get something after botching that Baron fight.
All right, well, here comes Dragon number 3. CLG has the first 2. If they get number 3, Origin might start sweating a little bit in that category, and CLG, they need this Dragon. Looks like they'll be able to get it unopposed, though.
Yeah, this is very easy for them. Origin, they kind of threw everything into taking that tower, just looking down the river. 0 ward coverage, really, from Origin, so they know that it's been taken, but no vision whatsoever, so completely blind. They'd focus so heavily on taking that tier 2 turret, kind of gifted that to them, and they've got to be careful, as you mentioned. Start just giving them that. They're already at 3, and this is pretty early. 27 minutes in, 3 dragons stacked out. They could easily take this to 5. We saw how scary that was when Jinhao was so close to it. And CLG, well, they realize they don't want to be in that position once again.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically just going to be waiting for the next Baron right here. OG will just be able to take it faster and faster every time. That's going to be their main win condition. CLG holding on, but to be 5,000 gold down right now against the Kassadin and the GP with this mid Echo, who frankly really hasn't been doing very much or proven very effective at all in this game. We know that the Echo can't stop the split push against the Kassadin. It was soloed out by Power of Evil already, who just continues to stack more and more damage. So they don't really have good answers to the split push. They don't have great answers to the burst potential in a team fight either.
Gangplank all used just to keep CLG away from that blue buff. Looks like Soaz managed to grab it at the last second. No blue buff for Darshan.
And Darshan spent a lot of time in the tri-bush as well. He wants to get a solo onto Soaz. And as of yet, I think he will come out on top. It's going to be very close, though, now that Soaz has built up a lot of that damage.
Yeah, CLG, I mean, doing a great job with vision control, though. They're tracking the movements very well, and they're trying to set the split push up again. There were, some issues around CLG's warding in the season and at the World Championship, but it looks like they've really stepped up their game in terms of vision control.
Oh, nicely parried there. Very well done. Darshan totally expecting that one, but does get quickly caught again. So as proving, as I mentioned, that he has got that chunk of damage built up. Infinity Edge well underway now. Meanwhile, the middle battle, which is like, it seems like it's a 1-3-1 formation going on right now between these teams. We'll see who comes out on top.
Origin so far with a little bit more leverage. As they push down the mid lane, CLG forced back. But Origin needs to be careful. They don't really have any vision in the bottom side of that jungle.
No, they really need to start thinking about getting pinks down onto the Baron too. Some recalls probably should come through. They need to get some more vision denial, because right now Origin is heavily into the trinket wards. You can see they only have 1 upgraded sweeper, so they have to get some pinks in order to try and secure this Baron, because they want to make that bait. When you have GP, you want to set up barrels and have people walk into them.
Good damage onto Niels there. That was Stixade. Just what, 2 shots, 3 shots there? Just chunked him right down, and they've got to be careful. Like, don't get too carried away that they are ahead. Power of Evil going to go engaging onto Hui there. And again, they're still in a very much a split situation where they can't quite take each other down. Hui's going to try and get away from this one, but it looks like Power of Evil might have the better of him. Does finally finish him off. Darshan using that teleport to get in, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch him.
Yeah, really bad teleport play right there, but we're still going.
Stixade in a lot of trouble. Gangplank out coming in. Summoner he'll use Aframu on the run. And no, they don't quite get the slow, but this is all not looking good for CLG with Baron coming up so soon. If Origin can get more kills, and Mithy wants just that knockback by the explosive cast, but here comes Amazing. Soaz close behind Aframu, picks up his carry yet again, gets slowed down, and Stixade jumping to safety there. Looks like Origin might not get anything, and here comes Darshan down from the mid lane, might be able to flank this.
Trying to catch him around the side there, but Origin, I think they're going to get out of this one okay. It's still going to get chased down the river. The teleport coming in. He's joining the fight. Oh, they managed to quickly pop out from him. Is it going to be enough, though? Power of Evil coming down. He joins in the fight there. And now Origin on the back, but Amazing caught out, manages to get the ulti down. He's going to be alive for now, but as soon as he steps out, he's in trouble. Darshan comes around, but here comes Power of Evil around the backside. He gets himself one. Can he get more? No! Power of Evil, the Zonyas, the rest of his team needs to get close enough to help him out here. And here they come charging in. He backs up. Oh, not quite able to zap him out. Soaz will catch him. What a messy affair, Monty.
Well, this is what happens when you have, what, a kill a minute, basically? 28 kills in 31 minutes. It's just been constant battle on the Rift as each of these teams. I mean, CLG, they have to keep fighting as the longer this game goes on, but this is a great turn from Origin because they know what's about to happen to them. They know the risk that they're in, so they turn on the flank and pick up a kill immediately. Then Amazing is put out up front, and what he's going to do is drop the Kindred ult immediately, manage to stay alive, does give CLG some heal, but it buys enough time for Power of Evil to get into the back with the teleport of his own. And Stixay here does fall. Zonya's used, and that means that Soaz can get back, get another barrel down, and zone him out in time.
Don't know what you're
Again,
thinking there.
the ults from Huhi have
Yeah.
really left a lot to be desired in this game.
And that's going to mean another Baron for Origin here unless CLG can stop it. Going in, there's the explosive cast, not enough. Kindred takes it. Origin turns immediately onto CLG. Darshan getting pulled to safety, supposedly by Afromu, but there's a knockup. Huhi goes in again, loses a ton of health, and here comes Stixay from the side. Does he have enough damage to push Origin away? It looks like he does. So as waiting to use that one. Here comes a re-engage from Origin, though. CLG so low, a kill for Niels already. Stixay, though, you got to keep in mind, this guy can do so much. Niels very low, Stixay in the belly of Afromu, and that is going to help Origin do the damage. Triple kill for Power of Evil. You know, I gotta say, Afromu picked up Stixay there right when I thought Stixay was gonna be able to get some nice shots in.
I thought that was so close. I was like, it's 2 for 1, 2 for 1, 2
Yeah.
for 2. And then it's just like, Power of Evil, bam, triple kill. Instant, and that is the tower. Such
Oh,
a
boy.
dominant fight in the end for Origin. They did pick up the Baron, remember, so they're going to take themselves an inhibitor as well. Big win for them in really a fight that CLG kind of had to take, really.
Yeah, there's no other choice right there. You have to try and take them out while they're low, but the real hero of that entire engagement was Mythy, who he's gotten so many multi-man knockups in this game so far. You see, he denies X-Mythy out of the pit right there to start this thing off, and then as Power of Evil gets targeted, and Amazing actually gets the exhaust out on him, there's a 2-man knockup right there. He then boots Darshan out so that they can safely retreat, but then CLG makes a big mistake. They get into this brush right here, and they start grouping up, and Mythy drops the ward for Vision, W's in, 3-man queue. Beautiful Alistair play by Mythy throughout that entire engagement.
Yeah, Niels had a bead onto Stixay there. Afromu picked him up, and at that point, there was just nothing else coming out of CLG.
That was great Alistair play. I mean, he really just totally saved Origin in that situation. Chose all the right targets for his headbutt and his pulverize.
Yeah, Darshan was not in that fight.
No.
He was just crowd control the entire time. It's like either bouncing or headbutted against the wall or just kept completely away.
And that's the advantage. When you have the CDR from a Frozen Heart, you can get so many more abilities down over the course of a team fight, and it really did make all the difference in that particular situation. So now CLG find themselves a Baron down again, except now 3 members of Origin have that Baron buff compared to 1. And that's great for Origin because both Kasten and Gangplank retained their Baron buffs.
You do have to wonder a bit, too, about this Echo pick by Huhi. It really has not worked out for him yet this game, and there's a lot of questionable decisions being made.
Well, I understand what they wanted to do with it. That first blood that they got, they wanted to use it to dive turrets and to get Darshan ahead because that's how they've decided that they want to play League of Legends here in San Jose. But the problem is that he didn't get enough ahead. There's still a monster of a Gangplank now in this game. So the strategy, I don't think it was great, but I understand what they were going for. I think it was risky, but it's only game 1 of a best of 5. You might as well see what you can do.
Right. A lot of games left to be played here.
Definitely opens things up for them, that's for sure. But they are facing a 11,000 gold differential here. Power of Evil looking to go on the flank, come around the sides and keep the poke going. Remember, pretty much everyone lost the Baron buff, I feel, by the time that fight was all done and dusted. Long time ago. CLG, despite the fact they are so far behind, very much defending with ease. Still, Origin just looking to try and find an advantage. I feel that Soaz wants to prop something up here. Yes, he does, but Smithy read it like a book.
Yeah, good pink ward though, just keep setting up barrels right there. You try and control that choke. So they're playing around the vision. Finally, they've actually been able to set up vision of their own. That's one thing that Origin hasn't been great at in this game, is dominating in terms of wards. But I mean, Power of Evil right here.
That's a lot of damage on that mid turret. Soaz coming in to help out. Still got a few minions left, but I think they're going to be pretty satisfied with that damage for the moment.
Yeah, the multi-pronged push, and that's going to open up that top tier 2 turret. Darshan's having to help down the bottom, and he's keeping those super minions at bay. And that's just giving space for Origin to push all 3 fronts.
Yeah, and now just rotating back up to that top lane tier 2.
I mean, basically, Huhi, I mean, you can see right there, with his parallel convergence, he's mostly been useful for creating zones in this game, but not really extending beyond that. It's been somewhat tanky. He's got his Zonia's Hourglass right now, and he's drawn a lot of cooldowns, but it really has been an underwhelming performance.
Amazing's done well on Kindred as well. That's a champion that we've seen very much hit and miss throughout this tournament.
Oh, yeah.
After seeing some fantastic performances at Casper, and this is going to be the mid-turret take down.
Stixay already super low. There's a Gangplank out. Power of Evil comes in for the kill. There goes the turret mid lane as well, like Smithy. Another kill for Power of Evil. A double now, a kill for Huhi, though. As he runs away, Power of Evil and Soaz chasing. Meanwhile, Niels just sits right on that inhibitor. Goodbye, inhibitor. That's 2 down in favor of Origin.
Yeah, they're just going to try and push forward here. They have so many Sheens. They have a Sheen on Gangplank. They're going to try and just tank out this turret with the TP.
Yep. Well, Power of Evil comes in, Lich Bane on there as well. It's all too easy. Origin going to be taking down those turrets. CLG do what they can to stop them in here. Darshan just repelling everything he can, but that tower is falling. The second Nexus falls. The Pulverize comes in. They get launched onto the fountain, and Origin will take game 1 in this best-of-5 finals.
Yeah, looking pretty darn smooth there in that game. Nice ability from Origin to snowball, getting a couple of Barons. They took that risk with the first Baron, and it did draw out the game because they did lose 4 members and gave CLG a foothold back. But there's a big difference, I think, between Origin and CLG's ability to team fight.
Yeah, I mean, really, I feel like I'm having flashbacks of what Crepo was saying before the final started, where everything CLG has been doing well this tournament. Origin has just been doing a little bit better, and that's really what it seemed like in game 1, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that is definitely on display here in this particular one. Power of Evil had a very, very good game coming in and getting legendary at the end and looking like he was a lot stronger than Huhi. I don't think we're going to see Echo anymore. I'd like to see something different, of course, but trying to play Echo and then leaving that Kassadin up, because if you're playing against Origin, you have to imagine that if they pick Gangplank, it's probably going to Soaz. So Kassadin really strong on this patch.
Yeah, I expect to see a very different pick and ban coming into game 2. So, best of 5, remember, ladies and gentlemen, plenty of action still to go here in San Jose. Join us after the break to break down that match. See how